Remember something, Blackwell. All the money in the world that the Sheik give you, you can't take it with you.
He may be an apprentice carpenter, but I guarantee you he is a seasoned ring veteran.
We've all heard of Minnesota nice. Well, this is Minnesota mean, as in professional wrestling's Mean Gene. Mean Gene Okerlund, who's parlayed a gift of gab and the ability to make the unbelievable believable into becoming a Minnesota icon.
This is you as Gene Leader.
Leader, Gene Leader, WDGY, KDWB.
It all started innocently enough back in the 1960s when Okerlund was a disc jockey on WDGY radio, known then as Gene Leader.
I had the radio background, and certainly that worked out for me very well. Got into television just simply by accident.
Today, Gene Leader is known as professional wrestling's Gene Okerlund, his real and preferred name. A name that's become not only an icon in Minnesota over the past 30 years, but a name recognized the world over.
You started with Marty O'Neill?
Started actually with Vern Gagne and Wally Carbo, the old Minneapolis Boxing and Wrestling Club, then known nationally as the AWA, and that was in '71. And it wasn't too long after that I went on kind of a full-time basis, but not in the Twin Cities, my home market, because I was still a salesman for Channel 11, and being an account exec, they certainly wouldn't want you on the air schlepping wrestling.
Okerlund's talent of listening with keen interest to a wrestler's plight have made him one of the most likable characters in the business.
Back out of retirement tonight, Vern Gagne, how did it feel? Great! How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Your thoughts, Mad Dog?
Mean Gene's popularity has spawned a number of businesses outside the ring, like 72 Mean Gene burger stores around the country.
We use, of course, all American beef. I always say all beef, no bull. And this stuff doesn't come from Mexico or Canada. Right here in the good old US of A, you got to try it. We put a quarter pound of this great beef patty. You've got the onion, pickle, lettuce, and tomato, and we sandwich that in a 4.5-inch corn-dusted Kaiser roll.
So it's little wonder that Mean Gene's entrepreneurial talents have led to his having his own fishing guide service on Big Sandy Lake in north central Minnesota.
All right, Gino, now you have guided in these waters for how many years now?
This will be 27, my 27th summer.
And I imagine you've seen a lot of changes over the years, haven't you?
Well, I certainly have, and a lot of people are catching up with my act, I hate to say.
How is that? They're learning to use leeches and worms, you mean?
Exactly.
Is there anything this man cannot do? I mean, where does he find the time to be a fishing guide? And how can he know the answer to everything?
Well, there's fish all over here, actually, but I don't think we're near them right now. I think we have to go a little bit to the southeast and under the bridge and up along the shoreline, and then I kind of guess where this spot is out there.
I notice you're just sort of following a channel, following the birds, sort of, you're kind of bobbing and weaving like you know where you're going. It appears that you know where you're going, right toward the fish, huh?
Well, it's instinctive if you spend as much of, I know this lake like the back of my hand. Well, they're pretty close anyway.
One thing I'm never quite sure about Mean Gene is whether or not he's serious.
Well, you were telling me just the other day you caught 3 walleye, 1 northern, and 1 smelt.
And 1 smelt, yeah. The smelt, a little tough to angle them at this time of the year. Usually they run in the winter under the ice.
1 smelt, but he didn't smelt too good.
It didn't smelt good at all, no. A little stinker, tell you the truth.
Oh, he's serious, all right. And talk about serious. Just mention the good old days when wrestlers were wrestlers, and Mean Gene gets real serious.
Did you ever think it would come to this, where you are today in this thing? I mean, how big it is worldwide, not just regionally here?
Well, it's become worldwide. I'm doing right now all of the classic stuff for the AWA, and
that has to be a kick for you.
It does, because I started out in the American Wrestling Association with the great Vern Gagne and Wally Carbo, but of course they had so many stars: Mad Dog Vachon, the one, the only, the Crusher, Blackjack Lanza, Big Bad Bobby Duncombe, yeah,
Was he in there, the Claw?
The Claw Master, Baron von Raschke.
Von Raschke?
Yeah, I enjoyed the Baron. Asked him one time about what he thought of the midgets and tag team action at the old St. Paul Civic Center. He said very little. I said, what kind of a match do you think it's going to be, Baron? He says, short.
Robert Redford, Paul Newman, eat your heart out.
How about the Crusher? We're talking about icons here.
Crusher, one of a kind. Reggie Lasowski from South Milwaukee, Pulaski High School. Just a real character. And here's another guy that was able to relate to people. He took the barrel of beer. He walked uphill both to and from school, always doing the polka, the dancing with the gals after the big victory.
Vern Gagne.
Vern earlier on was a visionary in terms of wrestling and what to do, the components that would make people tune in and go to live events. This was long before pay-per-view and long before big television contracts.
This belongs to Andre the Giant. This is his ring.
Andre liked to taste the grape and the clear stuff and just about anything else that he could get his hands on. They say that one time on a trip from Mason City, Iowa, back to the Twin Cities, he consumed 74 cans of beer.
Wait. Have you checked out the lateral deltoid lately?
The lateral deltoid?
Well, I mean, I worked in every organization with the governor, yes.
How many years does that cover?
About 18 years. Yeah. And I see him periodically. Not much of a fisherman. I know he has that big governor's fishing opener, but I think, to tell you the truth, RJ, I think they actually put the fish on the hook and throw it back in the lake and then have him pull it out just to kind of fire for effect.
Never, baby, never. You might eat that mic.
Any political aspirations for Gene Okerlund?
Politics, Mean Gene. I like the ring.
How about Mean Gene and Fritzy?
Yeah, I like that.
That even has a better ring to it. Need a running mate?
I imagine you'd like to be on top of the card.
And so it goes. No fish biting, the bobber stays afloat, but our faithful guy doesn't stop with the one-liners. Nor does he stop dealing out his vast wealth of fishing information.
This lake has 37 islands?
It has a total of 37 islands. What you see over there is the Big Island. This over here is...
What's it called?
The Big Island.
Oh.
So, call it sport or call it entertainment. Pro wrestling in many ways is a lot like fishing. There's always room to enhance the story.
Gino, I've just discovered why we aren't catching anything. The fish have gorged themselves on mayflies. Look at all the dead mayflies laying on the water here.
You come up with a good point.
Huh?
I should have thought of that myself. Every time the mayflies come out, the fishing is lousy for a
I
week
hate
or two.
when they do that, and especially when the mayflies come out in July.
It's not right.
Or August, for
Or
heaven's
August.
sakes.
And they're even worse during the ice fishing season.
Stay with us. Up next, a whole lot of fun to be had in Taylor's Falls, Minnesota, where the fun never stops. We'll go out and about to Walker, Minnesota for some whales of fishing tales, plus a glimpse of the gray whales still ahead on Out and About.
Listen here, you turkey neck. You asked for more Out and About, and you're gonna get it.
Just a second, a little decorum here.
What?
Who do you think you are, the governor? Out and About will continue when we come back.
You said that
You're
too
out of
nice.
line.
That was my line.
Oh, that was my line. I had it. I wrote it.
You're the turkey neck.